So this is pretty hilarious. Snake oil salesman Mayor Pete has a pretty insane take. Okay, his belief, and this is a very heavily held belief by Mayor Pete, is that there are polls that are showing data that he is the best candidate to beat Donald Trump.
Well, we've seen polling data come back showing that I would be the best candidate to take on Donald Trump. And I think one of the things that many voters I have encountered on the trail have in common, by the way, not just true blue Democrats, but independents and a lot of Republicans who are sick of this president. Big thing that so many folks have in common is the importance of defeating this president. Now, that's not just about ideology. It's about a lot of things. What we know for sure is we're not going to be able to beat Donald Trump by recycling this same political mindset that brought us to this point. What I'm offering is something completely different, and I'm insisting that what it takes to govern is also what it's going to take to win. I'm the best candidate to do that, to turn the page, to move us into a different future. And that's such a priority right now, knowing that this is our one shot, our only shot to defeat this president.
Mayor Buttigieg.
So what pisses me off so much about Mayor Pete is he talks a lot, he says a lot of words, but they don't mean anything. I mean, this guy is doing what Beto was doing before, where you just talk a lot. You know, his answers to any question will essentially be a Wikipedia page breakdown of whatever issue it is. He won't even give an opinion. He'll dodge a lot of stuff. He doesn't say anything. Like, what you just heard there, he just went on and on about some random stuff. What is something new that you bring to the table? You bring literally nothing new to the table. Guys, this is a guy we're talking about who's literally anti-policy. He doesn't like policy. Okay, so it's like, are you fucking kidding me? What new do you bring to the table? You bring to the table the most centrist, mealy-mouthed garbage we've seen for the past forever. We saw under the Obama presidency. We saw under a Hillary Clinton campaign and then a nomination. What do you bring that is new? I am begging to find out. And I love how he says, oh, there's polling data that shows this. It's super hilarious. So what I think he's pointing to is that there are general election polls in Iowa and New Hampshire, which have him doing the best against Donald Trump, although in Iowa he still loses to Trump, but he does better than Bernie Sanders does. But the problem with that is Iowa and New Hampshire are 2 states out of 50 states. And so if you base whether or not you're going to defeat Donald Trump based on 2 states, those being Iowa and New Hampshire, all right, that you're going to beat Trump, especially when you're losing in Iowa. That's pretty embarrassing. I really have to tell you that. So people are trying to point to that. Now, if you look at the RCP numbers here, in terms of the RCP average, these are the general election Trump versus Sanders polls, and it has Bernie up 3 points in terms of the overall spread. That's the amount that he has. You can see all of these blue numbers, all of these nice blue numbers, which means that Bernard is winning. Now, if we go over to Buttigieg, his national numbers, it's Trump plus 0.2. Okay, so he's literally losing in terms of the aggregate numbers when it comes to national polls. Now, you may say, oh, these are national polls. We need polls of state by state. Okay, well, we don't have any fucking state by state numbers. We don't have every general election state numbers. And you can't point to Iowa and New Hampshire and tell me that A, that's a good indicator of anything in terms of the general election, or B, that overrides the national polling data, which has Bernie Sanders beating Donald Trump by 3 points, whereas Trump is beating Buttigieg by 0.2 points. And then there's always a certain smell test or a common sense test that you can run through the machine when it comes to politics. All right, and my common sense test that essentially goes through here is, how would Pete Buttigieg fare against Donald Trump in debates, in an election? I don't even know how that dynamic would go through. But the idea that, to me, Pete Buttigieg is everything that Donald Trump would want in an opponent. A fake snake oil salesman who changes his opinion based on whoever's donating money to his campaign. You know what I mean? Like a guy who's fake. He just says a bunch of shit that's nothing, that he doesn't mean anything. I feel like that's the ideal Trump opponent for him in Trump's mind. So I have a worry of endorsing it or having him as the nominee, because I feel like Trump would eat his lunch and just completely just tear him to shreds. So you know what I mean. So it's a bad look here. But Pete Buttigieg is just lying out of his ass.